This is Dan of Vagabond Awake.
𝗕𝗕𝗢𝗡 from 𝗕𝗵𝗲𝗃.
And in this video, we want to answer the question, is there more crime in low-income neighborhoods overseas? My webpage is all about retiring overseas early, and people always wonder, what's crime like in other countries, right?
Yes.
And where I grew up, crime is one thing, but overseas it could be something completely different, right? Yeah. So my name is Dan. I've lived in 73 countries over the last 18 years.
My name is Chang, and I've been traveling with Dan for 7 years, and I've been to 48 countries.
Now, I grew up in a middle-income neighborhood, and so I don't have a lot of experience living in low-income neighborhoods in the U.S. where I grew up. So my experience really is not even good in the U.S. with low-income neighborhoods.
Well, me also, I'm living in the middle-income neighborhood, so this is the first time for me to live in this like a low-income neighborhood, or we call low-cost flat, or you guys call low-cost apartment. It's quite fascinating for me I want to experience how if sharing a live with 600 family in one building. And normally when we travel, I always share about the location and the house where I live in the world to my family. So my family was shocked when I shared them this location.
Shocked?
Yeah, about where we live, and they like, wow, is this would be a little bit dangerous for you to live there? Because people always have this kind of mindset that they are judging from the low-cost apartment. They will think that, oh, it's not safe over there. Plus, this place also have a lot of foreigner worker. Okay, you would think foreigner worker is from British, Italy, US. No, they are the foreigner worker from the Asia. They are from Myanmar, Cambodia, Sri Lanka, India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, Vietnam, Thailand, all these places to coming to Malaysia and work. So they kind of worry about, is it safe that you live there?
Now, although I grew up in a middle-income neighborhood, during high school, after school, I would go work in a tough neighborhood. In fact, there was a bar across the street from where I work where I watched someone get shot and run down the street. But I didn't spend a lot of time there after dark. And so I was kind of curious of what it would be like overseas to stay in a low-income neighborhood.
Yeah, and so for you, we are right now in Malaysia. So Malaysia is a former British colony. So only police have guns, But one thing is I want to share is when you travel the world, you have to bring common sense with you. Pickpocket or the phone snatching, this is a very common in all over the world.
So are low incomes safe or are they dangerous overseas? Now, this is an important question. Many of the people that listen to my channel are trying to move overseas in order to live on a lower budget than they could live on in their home country. And so with rents rising over the last year or so, apartment costs going up, there's fewer choices of places to rent. So if you do decide to rent in a low-income neighborhood overseas, is it safe?
Yeah, so that is a question we want to answer it right now.
Now, normally we pick our places based on walkability. So walkability really just means like the food's nearby, coffee shops, near the Old Town area, nightlife, boutique shops. But usually those neighborhoods cost more when you get into the close-in walkable neighborhoods. But Chung found a low rent in a walkable area. And so this question came up for us. Do we want to stay in this low rent income neighborhood?
Yeah, I found this place, it's a very cheap rent for a month here. Stay tuned. I know you want to ask how much is the rent. I'll tell you later, okay? So I found this place and I found out it's a very walkable. It's walkable to the coffee shop, mall, grocery store, haircut, mobile shop, doctor office, which we call clinic. Here you can see a doctor and get your medicine right away in the doctor office. And they have a pharmacy next door, a lot of different kind of restaurant, daycare, and also they are close, walking distance to the mall, and they are walking distance to the old town. That is why that we choosing this place to want to experience, So we are here.
So since we're always telling you in order to get your costs down, you need to start with low rents, we decided to put our money where our mouth is. And so we stayed in this building, which is a low income neighborhood, for a month. And the rent was $410 US per month. Now that's for short term, for just a month. We found it on Airbnb. It includes electricity, water, Wi-Fi, gas. That's the rent, $410. But on top of that, you have to pay the Airbnb fees and the tax. Now it's a 3-bedroom, 1 bath. But this place would rent, if you rented it for a 1-year lease, we found online they're advertised for in the range of about $200 to $250 US for a 1-year lease. And we'll give you a house tour so you can see the rest of the place that we're in right now as we continue to speak.
This building have 600 families, so we got it to experience chasing the lift, queue out to getting the lift up to our place or coming down. It would take about 10 minutes sometimes. And then sometimes the lift is not working, you need to wait longer. Well, but they have 6 lifts here.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I like this neighborhood is also, as I already said, they have a local food around here, and they have a famous night market here. It's a Monday night market in this neighborhood. And also they have the public transportation here. So you just walk out from your apartment, you can go to take a bus to go anywhere in this Penang Island. The second thing there also, that's, when I think about the low cost flat, always I was thinking they are very dirty. People is not very helpful. They throw the garbage right away from the house. But this place is opened my mind because they keep the building very well. I would say it's clean. That is very surprising to me. The second thing also is a management. I think they need to pay for the maintenance fee. That's why. And they have a CCTV in each lift. And each floor, they also have CCTV. It's very funny, why they have print out the picture of someone who throw the garbage right in front of the house, or they throw in the staircase, So they have the photo over there. And also people who waiting the lift, they like to be the leg against the wall.
Put their foot against the wall,
Yeah.
They lean back.
Yeah, they lean back, so the wall will get dirty. They also take that photo and then warning everyone, if we catch you to do this one time, you need to pay for the fine. I think this is very organized. This place is really opened my mind, because this place is a local neighborhood. They have a lot of food that we can eat here. They have Malay food, Chinese food, Indian food, Thai food,
Yeah.
And also you can order a 2 ringgit with a 50-cent milk tea and sit over there and chat. This is the favorite thing that me and Dan like to do in the nighttime. Have a wine, we have a tea or coffee, whatever you want. We like the milk tea, and just sit over there for an hour, 2 hours. They will not come to ask you, do you want to have a second cup? Or, they will not chasing you away. That is the beauty of sitting in the mama. Spend 50 cents to enjoy your evening time.
Yeah, and on the floor, the ground floor where you catch the elevator, they have I guess we call him an uncle in Asia.
Yeah.
It's an older gentleman. They have a couple shifts there,
Yeah.
and they're helping people get on and off the elevators, and they're watching what's going on and everything. And so it has a real community feel to it. I mean, these restaurants around here, multiple grocery stores, daycare. There's even a store selling whiskey and wine and beer.
Yeah.
And it feels like a self-contained community. It's 3 buildings, each with about 600 families. They're copies of each other, and there's parking, a garage, and so it's all this whole community happening all within like 100 meters of your front door.
And one thing, security guard speak English to me. People here they speak decent English. I would say a simple English, buying thing, everything. Then experience by himself to go out to buying food for me. And we also, beside that, we're not only drinking milk tea, we also drinking, I drinking beer also. We just sit down on one of the restaurants outside, it's Chinese restaurant, we all order beer, I sit down drinking my beer, eating my dinner. It's just so easy in this neighborhood, you get everything here.
So are low-income neighborhoods dangerous in these retire overseas paradise? I can't speak for all of them. This is our first try.
Yeah.
Normally we stay in a little more expensive, but I would say it feels very safe to me. It feels like a community. I would call, in the US, we would call the people living here salt of the earth. They're families, they're peaceful, there's kids coming and going. It feels safe at all hours. We've been coming and going. And so I would say that, at least with respect to this neighborhood, that low income is not the end of the world. In fact, I would say in many respects, you feel kind of more connected to your neighbors. And they're in all different shapes and sizes and ages. And like Chen said, they're from different parts of the world. Yeah. And everyone just kind of mingling together here. Yes. It reminds me, in the US, we call it a melting pot. This really has a melting pot feel to it. And but no screaming or yelling or fighting. I haven't heard anything like that. No drug problems. It's just people, they go to work in the morning, they come home and they spend time with their family, and it's just a really nice place to live. So I really would have no problem at all coming here and staying for a year, finding a nice apartment for $250 per month. They even have furnished ones in that range. And I would have no problem at all with coming and staying here. And so really it changed my mind about, what my fear I had about, these, what look like government buildings that we have in the U.S. that I have fear about, but I've never actually been in one. It makes me kind of wonder if maybe some of them are not as bad as we hear about in movies and stuff. But certainly here, I would say this feels safe. It's lovely.
Yes, they are right. So I also would say that I feel safe to living here. In fact, I also tell my parents that it is safe. It is very surprising safe to be living here. It's really changing my mind on living in this kind of the neighborhoods. One thing I want to share is the rent is cheap, affordable to live here, and it is walking distance to every place we want to go. So this is a best choice to live here. Actually, in Malaysia, you can live in Penang Island. You can live in far away. The rent is cheaper, but coming out, everything is very difficult. You need a car, and you need to wait for transportation for long. But this place, we can walk to the old town, to the nightlife area, to the shopping mall, everything by walking distance. No need to have a car also can. So that is the best place, and that's the best choice to be living here. Yeah,
so you can't always find low-income places that are in walkable areas, but in this case we did.
Yes.
And it kind of opens my mind about these sort of buildings. I won't be afraid of them in the future.
Yeah, true. We will not.
But we've shown you what this looks like. You probably have some preconceived notions, but hopefully this will open your mind too.
So it is safe to be living in a low-cost, low-income neighborhood for you?
I would say in this case, yes. We'll have to do some more and see.
Yeah, we will do some more and show you it is safe to be retired overseas in a low-income neighborhood.
Now, some of you, that's not an issue. Maybe rent's not an issue for you, but for those of you that it is, keep an open mind, check it out, spend some time and see if you agree. Now, Chung was talking about common sense. Well, I have a video about how to travel the world safely. So watch that right over here.
Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.